Hey, welcome back. Well, after 2 months off to treat a case of very deep depression, Dallas County District Attorney Susan Hawk back on the job, carefully reintroducing yourself to the people who put you in office, some of whom maybe, and you know it, maybe having second thoughts about that.
And I understand that. And that's why I've talked to the media, try to talk as many people as I can and answer any unanswered questions that are out there.
You feel pretty confident now. You said it was kind of like you're 1,000 pounds lighter than you were before this.
At least, yeah.
People don't understand mental illness. They think it's, you were told
to snap out of it.
Snap out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like saying quit having cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the things that you're in such a dark place that you don't know what to do, and then when you hear people say snap out of it, it makes it worse, and it's just a vicious cycle. Yeah. And so you know, I'm back on the job. I feel better than I ever have. I feel healthier than I ever have. But I went through serious, intense treatment for 9 weeks.
Right up front, your office was not entirely honest and truthful about what was going on. And as a public figure, is there any more of an obligation? You knew when you ran for office, you're giving up some of your privacy.
Yeah, I understand that. And I understand that I'm a public servant and I serve the people. My office did not know what was going on with me. At that point. And when I left to go, it was a pretty life or death situation at that point. And so, you know, no one was aware. 4 people in the world knew where I was my family and Mary Woodleaf, who's become, she's my political consultant, but now has become one of my best friends and the one I reached out to for help.
Is there, will you release your medical records?
Well, I think my medical records are private. I'm talking about what my diagnosis is. I'm talking about what my symptoms were. I'm talking about how it affected me. What are my warning signs when I'm going down that slippery slope? And if I can reach out to one person who's listening and thinks that that they feel like they're hopeless, then.
You were an attorney, you were a judge before this. Those are both high pressure jobs.
Yes.
Was it this job or running for this job that tipped you over?
No, and it's to understand what I've been diagnosed with is depressive disorder, is that this is something that happens over a period of time, years. And then I had a lot of big changes that happened in my life at once, starting about 5 years ago. And then they just kept happening, and I didn't treat it. And it went untreated for all this time. And you finally reach your breaking point.
Is there, one of the things that people in your office, you were exhibiting odd behavior, paranoia, everybody was out to get you, which I'm not a mental health professional, but that doesn't sound like depression to me. Depression, I picture as curling up in a ball and going over in the corner.
Well, there are different symptoms. My depression, and I also was diagnosed with general anxiety disorder as well. And there's different symptoms, and I had either depression and my anxiety were interchangeable. And when I had my anxiety raised to a certain level that it did after going untreated for all these years, one of the symptoms is paranoia. It doesn't mean that you're in a constant state of paranoia, it just means you have moments of paranoia. And if I felt like that was something that was going to affect my job, was going to affect my ability to do my job, I would step down.
Do you have people in the office or around you now who have the authority to say, step back, you need to take a week off, a month off, a day off, whatever?
What I've done is I have told the folks that are closest to me and the folks that are closest to me in my office, here, these are the warning signs, these are things, and I'm sharing with them very open things about myself because I want to know immediately when something's happened so I know what to do. And I have a crisis plan in place in case something does happen.
You know that a former employee said today that she will pursue a petition to have you removed from office. As far as you're concerned, this episode is over. As far as she and some others are concerned, it is not over.
Okay, well, that is, you know, that's her decision that she's made. But I'm just going back to work and doing my job.
Yeah, as far as you're concerned, you are ready, not only ready, but able to do your job.
And I just want to stress this. I love this job. I believe in it. I've given up a lot to do it. And if I felt like for 1 second I was not able to do it or I was not had the ability to do it, I would step aside.
Does this change how you treat? You told me that 25% of the people sitting over in the Dallas County Jail right now are mentally ill.
Yes, that are diagnosed.
That are diagnosed, that we know of. Does this change how you look at them as a criminal prosecutor?
Well, I think I've looked at them with empathy and compassion, and so I've always had that understanding that, and the way I've looked at mental illness from the beginning is that this is something that you treat. If you had cancer, it's something that you treat.
But
if
you have great insurance. They
don't,
sitting in jail.
I understand, and that's why if I can do anything to help and make a difference by talking and coming out with my story and how I suffered, and people look at you and me and say, you know, you have everything. How could you be upset, sad, and tell me to snap out of it? Well, sometimes you just, when you are that deep in a hole, you can't snap out of it.
Right. You had one employee that you fired who was an investigator for your office. You've been publicized that you two reconciled, apologized to each other for things both of you said and did. Any other apologies? Anybody else? Any other people you think you need to reach out to and say, boy, did I mess up when I got rid of you?
And I went back and I reevaluated all my decisions. And I know at the moments when I was making those decisions that that I was doing the right thing, I believed at the time. I do believe that still now. Mr. Savage is one that I reached out because I think my delivery, and I did not communicate effectively with him, and gave him the opportunity. I explained to him how I felt. Yeah. He apologized, and he's given him the opportunity to come back to work.
Okay. Any idea if he will?
He said that
it's
up to him.
Right.
So hopefully he'll come back and retire with us.
And again, you'd like to see changes in the way the system, if there is such a thing, treats people.
Well, there's such
with mental illness.
And we talked about that. There's such a stigma that's attached to this. And I know that if I was diagnosed with cancer, if I was diagnosed with another major illness, that people would feel a little bit differently.
They wouldn't say snap out of it.
No, they wouldn't say snap out of it or say terrible things.
Because we picture it as a mental illness. In a lot of ways, it's a physical illness. There are things going on.
It's organic.
Chemically.
It's an
that
organic
are not
illness.
Right.
Yes, there's organic illness, and that's why you have to treat it. And I've accepted that. This is something I have to treat for the rest of my life with medication and therapy.
And as far as you're concerned, that's going to go on rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed of this, and I'm not going to be ashamed of it.
And that support system, very important as well.
Very.
That's something, people say, okay, stay on your medication. It's a lot more than staying on your medication.
And it's reaching out to someone immediately when you feel that way. And also to know that even though you think there's nobody out there, I promise you there's someone out there that cares.
Right.
So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know this is tough coming out and talking like something. It is opening up a part of your life that most of us would prefer to keep to ourselves.
Well, like I said, I want to talk, and if I can reach out to one person that's suffering right now because I know how it feels, then it's worth it.
Thanks a bunch. We're going to post on our website, by the way, on fox4news.com, some resources for people. And again, you're lucky because you had insurance. You were covered. A lot of people are not and don't know where to turn when they or someone in their family might be in crisis. So we're going to post some resources.
Okay.
Thanks for coming by.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.